A professor's PowerPoint slide has gone viral when asking the following questions of their heterosexual students. So this was from a course on human sexuality, and just to address common understandings or misunderstandings of non-heterosexual identities researchers had, they put the following slide, which people are abuzz about. And these are the questions. The questions are, what do you think caused your heterosexuality? When did you decide you were a heterosexual? Is it possible that your heterosexuality is just a phase that you may grow out of? Why do you insist on flaunting your heterosexuality? Why can't you just be what you are and keep quiet about it? Why do you heterosexuals feel compelled to seduce others into your lifestyle? Have you considered therapy to change your heterosexual tendencies? So a lot of Twitter is very,
I'm offended!
Is very supportive of this. There were a lot of funny memes that were going out. My favorite was Michelle Visage from RuPaul's Drag Race. You know, I'm a big fan. But you know, some people did not like it. I've had a couple responses talking about getting my professor fired, and even some slurs and death threats.
Gotta throw the old death threat in there.
Someone on Twitter said, yeah, I'm not paying my kids tuition so the professor can do stupid shit like this.
I mean, it is funny. Like, I get the point of the class, or I'm assuming it's a human sexuality
it's a class. It's a course on human sexuality.
Yeah, he's trying to. It's
we don't actually know
drawing
the
an
gender
analogy.
of the teacher.
Or he or she is trying to draw. This is a comparison to
Right.
how homosexuals or members of the LGBT community are treated in society.
Or just questions that they've heard before. I was not offended, although it's designed not to actually like include me. It's inclusive of the LGBT community, sort of asking these questions of heterosexuals that people who are.
Why would you be offended?
Well. So I wanted to ask you: is this the sort of slide that you would see in a course and you'd be like, all right, like this is really petty. This is condescending.
I'm so offended. Like.
Well, some people on Twitter were offended.
He's making a lot of points. He's making a lot of points that I agree with, and I don't want to agree with them. That's why I'm offended. No, it's funny. Like, I get it. It's funny, and it's a kind of showcasing how we treat the LGBT community, even when we're understanding of the LGBT community. We're still like, have you, like, when did you realize you were gay? However, you know my stance on this. I think that conversation is the best way to educate people when it comes to these sort of issues. So if someone is coming to you and asking you these questions, it's not usually condescending, so don't be microaggressed by it, and instead, you know, try to be open-minded. And I know it's difficult because a lot of people are intolerant.
I will go with you this far to that degree.
With these questions, up to the therapy.
Well, so I would say,
why do you?
So, what do you think caused your heterosexuality, and when did you decide you were heterosexual? If you say what caused your homosexuality, or when did you decide you were homosexual, the wording is sort of vexing to me because I did not decide. It's not a choice.
I did not decide.
But
I thought Megan Fox in the movie Transformers flipped you. Into lesbianism.
You, like, in the same way that you can recall when you found a girl attractive, I remember when I thought girls were attractive also.
I'm just kidding.
I know you're fucking with me, you little troll. But Lizzie, I've talked about this with my girlfriend before, and she's made a really interesting point about the song Born This Way by Lady Gaga that I really like, and I remember just like loving it and jamming to it, and she was like, I'm not a big fan of the song, and I was like, why? And she's like, because the expression, I know people are gonna be like, your girlfriend sucks, she doesn't like Lady Gaga. She likes Lady Gaga. She just takes a little bit of issue with the song.
She doesn't. She's like, I fucking hate Lady Gaga. She said it.
She won't watch this.
Her.
So when
God.
you say like that you were born this way, sometimes she felt that it sort of implied that there's some sort of an excuse, like you can't hate them, they were just born this way. Well, whether you are dating a girl or dating, you know, whoever you're dating, you shouldn't have to make an excuse for it. It shouldn't be like, well, I was just born this way. You shouldn't have to put a just in front of it to justify it. Whoever you're dating, however you choose to love, it's okay no matter what. It doesn't have to be like you decided it or you were born this way. Just let people love who they want to love. So that's why the whole, like, some of the wording on this, fuck you, is funny. And then also the question, like, is your heterosexuality a phase? Do you think you might grow out of it?
Yeah, it's like shitty.
That's condescending.
But like still, I mean, is it though? Because I feel like, so I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit here. Like, obviously these are questions I've found the answers to, but that's because I
have had these questions before.
Well, not these. Like, I was never like, hey, do you think therapy could fix you? Like, I never said that. Like, that's a ridiculous question. But
I've
asked you like how you have sex, and I learned things that because popular culture depicts lesbians in a certain way, where they're like scissoring all the time and whatever, and
Pillow fights.
they always find themselves in like a Jello bath. And I was like, Grace, where's your Jello bath? How do you and your girlfriend?
He came to my home. He's like, how could you possibly have sex? There's no Jello bath
There's
here.
no Jello here. What is going on?
But
I'm
see,
confused.
Yes, that's true. You have asked me questions before. You and I have talked, but you are one of my best friends, and so when you have asked me these questions, I'm not offended because they've never come from a place of sort of like a bizarre, perverted fascination. They've come from a place of like, you and I are fucking. I've asked you questions about your sexuality as well, but we're on that level. We have that understanding in our friendship. I think what they're getting at with these questions is that sometimes people, when just because they know what your sexuality is, they think that inherently invites questioning, which it doesn't. So I think that you need to treat everyone on like a person-to-person basis, and just remember sort of civility and decency and social skills before you ask questions that could be kind of offensive and not necessary. Also, a lot of this stuff you can Google.
Yeah, but that's really funny. But here's one thing I will say, like I try to relate this sort of stuff back to my identity, right? And when I tell people I'm from Turkey or that I'm Muslim, like they'll have a lot of questions. They'll be like, and they range from, do you ride camels to work? To like, oh, what do you think about Recep Tayyip Erdogan? Is it similar to the authoritarian transition we're seeing in America?
Oh, my dad totally asked you that the first time he met you.
Yeah. Brownie points for your father. Anyway, but like what I'm trying to say is, there's a way to, I mean, yeah, the camel question is like, it's meant to be offensive even if the person directing that question at you genuinely doesn't know or isn't aware that it's like kind of offensive to think that. But it doesn't, like, I usually am like, oh, great, this is an opportunity for me to actually explain to someone that that's not the reality. Mm-hmm. So that's the way I see it. But not everyone has to see it that way. But I'm just saying, like, that's the way I see it. So that's how I conduct myself, because I see that as a teaching moment, like as a teachable moment.
I think what both of us like about this is that it sort of flips a conversation on its head. And I think it's sort of a unique perspective to look at things. So I think the professor was not in the wrong here. And I would have actually really enjoyed to talk about this in a class on human sexuality.
I thought you were going to ask me these questions, by the way. Like, I thought I was going to be like, I was ready. I'm like,
well, honestly, the one that I would ask you is, why do you insist on flaunting your heterosexuality? Why can't you just be what you are and keep quiet about it? Honestly, is one question that is very relevant to you.
I didn't realize that it was supposed to be like an analogy at first. I genuinely looked at the questions like head on, and I was like, oh, this is a lecture about like, we're gonna be discussing heterosexuality today. Like at a cursory glance, that's what I thought. And I was thinking like, why do I insist on flaunting my heterosexuality?
What is your
It must be kind of weird when like every single thing you see is like sex, like everything. It's like, do you want to buy this carrot? I'm gonna shove it in my pussy.
Okay,
like,
you're not a porn star.
I'm just saying, like everything you see on television now is like kind of hetero-focused and still hypersexualized. Like, you can't eat a burger without someone, trying to give you a boner at this point. It's like, oh yeah, do you want Carl's Jr.? It's like, look, all this cheese dripping on my fake boobs. Just like, eat this burger. Why? Why can't I just look at the burger? Do I need to be turned on?
So
why are you confusing me with this burger ad? Carl's Jr., stop it.
Hasan wants more gay Carl's Jr. ads, and I second that.
No more of that. None of that.
Maybe
I'm just a prude. I don't know. I want to eat my burger in peace without having a boner.
Hasan, I love you. You are not a prude.
I'm not a prude.
Guys, you want to hear from me in the comment section below. What did you think about this PowerPoint slide? What do you think about questions about sexuality? When are they appropriate? When are they not? Don't forget to subscribe to this channel, and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.